Good afternoon, everyone. It's Francesca Fronzaglio for Point News, and we have a special edition today. Currently, I'm sitting next to the 2017-2018 President-elect, Bobby Bertha, for the student government. Welcome, Bobby. Bobby, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. So you are the new electee, but previously you were the vice president. So what are some things that you plan on doing and changing for the university?
Yeah, a couple different things. My whole campaign over the past couple weeks was ran on three major platform ideas. One, and the most important, being clear and constant communication from the university administration down to the student body. I really don't want our communication with them to be a last-minute email, and I really don't want the communication coming from the administration of the university to be a last-minute email as well, coming out to the student body. I want that communication to be thought of beforehand and thoroughly happen throughout the whole year, and it to be constant, like I said,
Right.
and to be clear, and not any ambiguous letters sent home or any ambiguous emails sent to the student body. I think it should be just cut to the chase, like, here's what's happening, and we just want to keep you informed on what's going on campus.
And that's amazing. That's something that I think a lot of students will appreciate. So when you communicate with the administration, what is the first thing you want to communicate with them?
It's something similar to what I've been telling them on all of our meetings we've been having this year. So currently, I am still the sitting vice president until we're inaugurated in on April 24th. And in the meetings in the past I've had with different department chairs and different department heads for the university, it's always just been, let's keep our communication lines open. If you have anything that you would like to reach out to the student body and ask us, and we can reach out to them for you. Our constituents are the student body. We represent all the different schools here on campus, as well as we have at-large positions that represent just everyone in general. So we would like to work with these departments to help communicate to the student body and help them figure out what to do to better the university for the student body.
Now I know there are a lot of clubs on campus, and a lot of them benefit from the budget that USG gives them. Is there any way that you think that could better with the budgets and an easier access for these clubs to do more opportunities with them?
Yeah, so the money that we get is 11% of the student activities fee that every student that has to pay through their tuition bill. And that money is then given to us at the beginning of the semester, and then we have 2 funding periods that happen. So things that we're looking forward to do in the future is not really change the way we do funding, but change how much funding is given out. We are looking back at past numbers of how much funding has been spent for clubs in past funding periods and past semesters, and hoping to gauge that. So if more money is spent during the first funding period, possibly looking at giving more money out during the first funding period instead of the second funding period. And that's all just going to come down to how much clubs are active in the past, and talking to the club leaders and figuring out how active they hope to be in the future.
That's awesome. Now, the process to get funding for these clubs, how does that work?
Yeah, so our form is called the APF 100 form, and it's appeal for funding, is basically what it is. And clubs will fill out that form. They'll list all the events they plan on having. So if All Things Horror wants to have a movie night, which is something they typically do, they do haunted house Halloween related activities in the fall as well. Just to use them as an example, they would then use that APF 100 form during the funding application period, fill out that form with everything they want. They would also list all of the supplies they would need, and they would send that to us, as well as a proof of price sheet to the sale office. So just to give some quick background as well, not only is the student government responsible for overseeing and working with clubs, it's also the student activities involvement and leadership, so SAIL for short. The assistant coordinator helps clubs and is typically a club's advisor or second advisor, depending on how the club is set up. So the club will fill out the APF 100 form. Our funding committee, our finance committee will see that form, go through, and they'll recommend different prices based off of how much money we have to allot, or if the event is benefiting the university as a whole, is it benefiting a small group of individuals. They'll see that, and then the following week at our normal legislative body meeting, we'll have a a large funding meeting where we'll go through and, as a legislative body, approve each and every budget for every club. At that time, those clubs have the opportunity to speak to the legislative body and ask any questions they have about whether why is the budget recommendation from USG lower than the budget they requested, and things like that. And then after that whole funding process, the president then signs off on the motion voting records, and the money becomes available to the clubs immediately.
Okay, so that seems like a process.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, like you were saying earlier, that when you become the new president, you'll be able to make like an easier process.
Yeah, and that also goes into streamlining the process. So this year, the APF 100 form changed a little bit. It's all done through PointSync, so it's more of a streamlined process through PointSync now, as well as bringing in the legislative body for a training seminar before the semester actually begins is something we're looking into doing, so that whenever the semester starts, we can hit the ground running and we can open up the APF 100 form. We typically like to give clubs a good amount of time to fill out that form, and then we'll close that form. It takes us about a week to go through all of them, and then the following week we have our legislative body meeting for funding specifically.
It sounds like a great idea, Bobby, and I know I'm excited. I'm sure the rest of the Point Park students are excited as well. Mm-hmm. So I know it's early in the process, but is there anything new that you hope you can bring up, like a new idea for USG and for the university?
Well, during my whole campaign, I said that I'm open to student ideas, and I really look forward to the coming months and next semester to just be out in Village Park and have students come up to me and say, hey, this is an idea that I thought of with a few of my friends, and I think the student government should pursue it and see if it's viable to bring to campus. And I really look forward to hearing those ideas that students have to come. And then I will be meeting with Davian Heron, who's the elected vice president-elect. And then hopefully we'll be setting up our executive cabinet to meet together and come up with a very good base of ideas that we'd like to implement over the next year.
All right, well, congratulations, Bobby.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It sounds like you gladly deserve being the new president of Point Park University. I'm sure all of the student body is just as excited as well as I'm sure I am, even though I am graduating. But thank you so much, Bobby.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Congratulations once again for winning president. Everyone, this is our new president-elect for 2018, Bobby Bertha. I'll see you guys next time.